Hello Faded Dolls, Dami here, and I'm bringing to you the second world building video. This one is going to be on environments, and I know in the last video I said I am not a big fan of environments, but unfortunately for me, it is a huge part of world building. So let's get started. Environments are very important when you're building your world. It kind of defines pretty much everything. How your characters live, what they wear, how they interact, etc. So when you're thinking about building an environment, you want to think about the different things that make that environment unique and special. Now this could be something big or small. And when I say elements that define your world, I mean geographical features. So, as an example, I'll use my Avaralistarian forests. I started with a concept that we all know, which is a forest, and I started building on that idea. What are some of the features that define this forest, that make this forest uniquely Avaralistarian, uniquely mine? So a small example are the crystal plants that grow within these forests. These are important because they harness magic from the planet, from the realm, that the people use for daily activities. This is a small thing, but it's a little unique. It's not something you see in our mundane world. So what are the geographical features that define your planet or your realm? It could be magic lava, it could be special trees, it could be something huge like the whole place is covered in water, or something small like my crystal plants. When you put a bunch of these geographical features together, you start to build an environment, something that is uniquely yours. The next thing to think about, stepping down from your larger idea of an overarching environment, is how does this environment, aka these geographical features, affect your characters? Whether you have a large single idea of, okay, I have a forest. My planet is entirely made of forest. Well, how would this affect your characters? You would start to think, well, maybe they have to forage for their food. Maybe there are specifical, that's a great word. Maybe there are specific elements in your forest, like crystal plants. Like I had mentioned a little bit ago, I have, on Avaralistaria, there are forests, and they contain crystal plants. And these plants contain the last bit of magic this planet has. So, how does this affect your characters? You can start with a big idea, and then you work your way down. And I will keep saying this until I'm blue in the face, because it's very important. Start big and work your way down. And start to think about things like cause and effect. You have a planet, a forest. How does this affect your characters? You have a forest, and there are magical plants. Okay, how does that affect your characters? And you can keep building on this forest idea and coming up with things that are a little bit more fantastical, a little more original, and really make your world your own. Make your environment your own. The next thing to think about when it comes to your environments is, what are the biggest strengths of your environment? So for Avaralistaria, one of the biggest strengths of their forests are their crystal plants, because those plants contain things that the people of the world can use for things like weapons, and they can even harness magic from the plants, which is big because the Avaralistarian people do not use magic. So maybe when you're thinking about your world, think about the elements within the world that kind of make it special, especially if you have more than one world. So Avaralistaria has these crystal plants, but Zagaria does not. Neither does Eucalius. So these plants are special and specific as an environmental factor to Avaralistaria. But then we have to also think about what are the biggest weaknesses of our environment. So when I think about Avara Listaria, maybe one of the biggest weaknesses to their environment would be in the Dark Realm. And it's called the Dark Realm, technically the Mero Kingdom, because they have more hours of darkness, aka night, than they do day. And it is freezing. Very, very, very cold. And they actually rely on these crystal plants to create heating charms. So they don't freeze to death. Because I'm a cruel and unusual god. So, one of the drawbacks, one of the weaknesses of an environmental place, one of the biggest drawbacks of the Dark Realm is that it's very cold and they have longer nights. So you can imagine it's kind of difficult to live. It's kind of difficult to live there. However, they have a very strong and thriving kingdom. But yes, so think about the strengths of your environment and the weaknesses of your environment. And you can really build a lot of nitty-gritty details when it comes to this. And it will also help you develop what kind of people maybe live in your world. Start with something big and then move your way down to something small. Well, this brings us to the end of the second video in the world building series, Environments. I know it's not long and maybe you expected something really detailed and convoluted, but it shouldn't be like that. It doesn't have to be hard, and honestly, this should be something fun for you. So, just to recap, we went over what are the main geographical features of your realm, regions, planet, however you want to name it. And this would be, what is it? What's the climate? Like, what are we looking at? Lava? Are we looking at a forest, water, etc.? And then we talked about getting into smaller details like what is in your forest? What are some of the main elements within your forest or your lava world that make it a little bit more unique? Then we discussed how these things affect your characters or the people that live there. We also talked about the strengths and the weaknesses of your environment. What can your characters take from this world that help them live, and what are the drawbacks of living in your world? And really, these are very simple concepts, and if you start big and broad and you add small details along the way, you will definitely come up with a world I think that you'll be happy with, and that's unique to you. I hope this video helped you guys out. I hope you started creating your world. If you already have a world or you have an idea, please comment below and let me know. I'd love to see your ideas. If you have any questions or anything you'd like me to elaborate on, maybe I could answer and help you out. If you guys like these videos and any of my other videos, definitely subscribe and give this a thumbs up. All right, I'll talk to you later. Bye.